The morning began the way most mornings did at the reserve, quiet, orderly, predictable. Dawn crept over the acacia trees in pale ribbons of gold, washing the gravel paths and tall fences in soft light. Birds stirred first, their calls layering into a living chorus that echoed across the plains. The air still carried the coolness of night, sharp and clean, before the sun would turn it dry and heavy. I had been working at the Macondo Wildlife Reserve for nearly 12 years, long enough to recognize the difference between real danger and routine disturbance. Most alarms meant nothing: baboons testing sensors, antelope leaning against fences, the occasional electrical glitch after a storm. That morning, I expected nothing more than paperwork and a perimeter check. Then the siren sounded. It cut through the calm like a blade. At first, my body reacted before my mind did. Adrenaline surged. Muscles tightened. I was moving before I consciously decided to, boots crunching against gravel, hand already reaching for my radio. "Control, this is Unit 3, I said, forcing my voice steady. "We've got an active alarm." "Confirm source." Static crackled. Then a pause that felt far too long. "Unit 3, Control replied, tension unmistakable. "We have a breach. Predator sector. Enclosure 7. My stomach dropped. Enclosure 7 housed only one animal. A lion. Not just any lion, but a fully grown male, weighing over 200 kilograms, with a mane so dark and thick it made him look even larger than he already was. Kibo. Before I could respond, shouting erupted from the main visitor trail. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. I turned just in time to see people running. Parents pulled children by the arms. A man dropped his camera and didn't bother to retrieve it. A woman stumbled, screamed, then scrambled back to her feet. The fear was raw, contagious, unmistakable. And then I saw him. Kibo moved through the picnic clearing like a shadow given form. His massive paws pressed silently into the dirt. His tail swayed in a slow, deliberate rhythm. There was no snarl, no roar, no sign of aggression, only purpose. People froze behind trees and vehicles, holding their breath as he passed. A lion that charges can be predicted. A lion that stalks can be managed. A lion that walks calmly, without fear or hunger, is something else entirely. "This is Unit 3, I said sharply into the radio. "Visual on the lion, he's out." I repeat, Kibo is out. Armed response teams were already mobilizing, but I knew how these situations could end. One wrong movement, one panicked shot, one misunderstanding, and a magnificent animal would die. Kibo didn't look at the people, didn't acknowledge them at all. His amber eyes remained fixed ahead, occasionally lifting as he inhaled deeply, drawing in scents invisible to us. He wasn't hunting. He was searching. I followed at a distance, keeping him in sight while staying out of his awareness. Years of training told me to maintain control, but instinct told me something was wrong in a way I couldn't yet name. Instead of heading toward the outer fences or the village boundary, the routes most escaped predators instinctively take, Kibo turned inward, deeper into the reserve. Toward the staff cottages. Toward the old fig tree clearing. "Control," I said quietly. "He's not moving randomly. He's tracking something." The storm from the night before had been brutal. Wind strong enough to tear branches from trees, rain that flooded drainage channels. Power failures across half the reserve. When I reached the predator enclosure, my fear was confirmed. The reinforced gate stood ajar. The locking mechanism had been torn loose, not forced, not broken deliberately, but weakened. Rainwater had seeped into the control housing. The backup generator had failed. Kibo hadn't escaped. He had simply walked out. By the time I reached the clearing, my heart was hammering so hard I could hear it in my ears. The fig tree stood exactly where it always had, its wide canopy casting deep shade over the stone bench beneath it. That bench had been there longer than most of the fences, older than some of the staff, and sitting on it was a woman. She looked impossibly small against the landscape. Elderly. Fragile. She wore a faded ranger's jacket, the kind no longer issued, its green dulled by decades of sun and washing. Her gray hair was pulled back neatly, and she held a metal thermos in both hands. She was smiling. Kibo emerged from the trees. Every muscle in my body screamed to shout, to run, to intervene. I raised my weapon not to fire, but to signal. "Kibo," I yelled instinctively. "Stop." The lion did not react. He slowed as he approached her, his steps measured, cautious. The woman didn't move, didn't scream, didn't flinch. She simply looked at him. "Kibo," she said softly. The sound of his name seemed to settle something deep within him. He stopped just a few feet away, lowered his massive body, and lay down in the grass. His head rested against her knee. Then came the sound none of us expected. A deep, vibrating rumble, not a growl, but a purr. Armed units burst into the clearing moments later, rifles raised, voices overlapping in confusion and disbelief. I ran forward, waving my arms. "Hold your fire," I shouted. "Nobody shoots." The woman looked up at us, calm as morning light. "You can lower those," she said gently. "He won't hurt anyone." Her name was Elena. She told her story slowly, as though unfolding memories she hadn't touched in years. Decades earlier, Elena had been a ranger at Makanda. Back then, the reserve was smaller, rougher, less secure. Poaching was constant, patrols were dangerous. One night, during a routine sweep near the northern ridge, she found a dead lioness. The body was still warm. Nearby, hidden in tall grass, was her cub. He was barely 3 months old. Dehydrated, starving. One of his hind legs crushed by a wire snare meant for antelope. Infection had already set in. The veterinarian said he wouldn't survive the week. Elena refused to accept that. She stayed with him night after night, fed him by hand, cleaned his wounds, slept on a mat beside his enclosure, listening to his labored breathing in the dark. She named him Kibo Strength. The cub lived, but his leg never healed properly. He walked with a limp that would mark him for life. A lion that cannot hunt cannot survive in the wild. When the reserve expanded years later, Kibo was transferred to a permanent enclosure designed for his safety. Elena stayed until the move was complete. Then she retired. Time passed, life moved on. Elena believed Kibo had died years ago. The day before the incident, her daughter brought her back to the reserve for a visit. Just a walk. Just to sit beneath the fig tree where Elena used to rest during patrols. Kibo had smelled her. Lions possess extraordinary scent memory. Scents tied to survival, comfort, and safety can remain imprinted for a lifetime. When the storm knocked out the power, Kibo didn't flee. He followed the only scent that ever meant home. After long deliberation, the administration reached a compromise. Elena was granted daily access to a secure viewing platform beside Kibo's enclosure. A bench was installed beneath the fig tree, safely separated by reinforced barriers. Every morning, Elena came. She talked to him, read aloud, sat in silence. Kibo always waited. Visitors noticed. Videos spread. The image of a lion lying peacefully beside an elderly woman captured hearts across the world. Elena refused interviews. "This isn't a miracle," she said once. "It's memory." As months passed, Elena's health declined. Her steps slowed. Her hands trembled. Still, she came. One morning, Kibo waited by the bench alone. Elena never arrived. She passed away peacefully in her sleep. Kibo remained there all day. And the next. In her will, Elena left everything she owned to the reserve with instructions to improve the lives of the animals, especially Kibo. We honored her. At the center of his habitat, we placed a plaque for the woman who chose compassion. Years later, Kibo still walks to the bench every morning. And every time I see him there, I remember that love leaves a scent stronger than time. That kindness never disappears. And that even a lion never forgets the one who saved him. If this story of Kibo and Elena touched your heart, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more incredible animal stories. Comment below with your favorite moment. Let us know which part moved you the most. And don't forget to share this story with someone who believes in the power of love, memory, and compassion even across species.